All right, we have some breaking news. A federal judge has just ordered that Kilmar Abrego Garcia be released from ICE custody immediately. This is a significant development in the case concerning the Salvadoran man mistakenly deported this year before being returned to the United States. He was really the center of the administration's controversial immigration policy. So let's go right to CNN correspondent Priscilla Alvarez. It's notable also that this is happening as the DHS secretary is testifying to Congress.
Yeah, Pamela, this is a remarkable development. Again, in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, this has been an ongoing case now for months. And in this scenario, this is the federal judge in Maryland where these proceedings have been happening before her. More specifically, where exactly he would be deported to after he was returned to the United States earlier this year. Now, the federal judge over the course of these various hearings has made clear her confusion over why the administration was not just deporting Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Costa Rica, a country that said was willing to receive him because he cannot be sent back to El Salvador. But the administration has been pushing for African countries to take him instead. And that is where the tension was over the course, again, of these hearings. And now the federal judge in this order that we received only moments ago saying that Kilmar Abrego Garcia must be released immediately. She also asked the government to notify his counsel of the next steps here by the end of the day, by 5 p.m. today. And I'm also reading through her opinion here, which is several pages long. And she even notes, again, quote, "The history of Abrego Garcia's case is as well known as it is extraordinary." Again, the administration, when they brought him back, they have put him forth for criminal charges. Similarly, he was being held at an ICE facility. And it was while he was in that ICE facility that the administration was also trying to sort where they were going to deport him. And that was, again, really where these proceedings were trying to discern where that would be. And the government kept coming back with wanting to send him to Africa. His counsel said that made no sense, that he should be sent to Costa Rica where he had protections. The government pushing back on that. And in the interim, there was no reason, the judge found over these hearings, for him to remain in government custody if they were still going back and forth on where he would be deported to. So again, now Kilmar Abrego Garcia will be released according to this order. I have reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment. They have not returned comment yet. We'll see what the government files in this case in response to this opinion. But to remind viewers, this is the Salvadoran man who earlier this year was sent to El Salvador despite what we call withholding of removal to that country. He had an immigration judge order that prevented him being sent back to El Salvador because of concerns for his safety there. Otherwise, he could be deported to any other country. But the administration did send him there and said in filings that that was a mistake while he was held at that Salvadoran prison. The administration returned him over the summer to face criminal charges. He was released for a period of time before being detained again by the administration and being held at an ICE facility in Pennsylvania. So now we are on watch to see what happens and unfolds over the rest of the day, because again, while the federal judge is saying here you have to release him immediately, she's also saying report back on what exactly you are going to be doing to make that happen by, again, 5 p.m. today. So we are watching all of this closely and reading through her opinion on how she came to this decision.
Yeah, this is significant. Priscilla Alvarez, thank you so much. I want to go to Andy McCabe on this because when all of this was going on, when the administration had mistakenly deported Abrego Garcia, Kristi Noem had said on multiple occasions that he would never set foot or live in the United States again. She is about to testify on Capitol Hill, and then you have this big development in this case.
Pretty much everything the government has said over the long course of this case and its companion criminal case, they indicted him when they brought him back from El Salvador, has been reversed. They said they'd never bring him back. They brought him back. Now he's, would never set foot freely in the country again, and here he is getting released. I think he's still a long way from determining where his future is going to be. They haven't abandoned their efforts to deport him. They're just locked in this struggle with the judge as to where they can possibly deport him to. But it does seem that for the interim, he'll be a free man, reunited with his family, no doubt.
But this could be appealed quickly, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure it will be appealed. But typically, these are very fact-based matters. And when a judge weighs in as deeply as this judge has, I mean, there have been so many hearings in this case. There have been so many requests for evidence, people testifying. it's hard. Those are much tougher rulings to appeal because they are, appellate courts have a lot of respect for district courts when they really get down in the weeds on the facts.
And again, just to reiterate, we're about to hear from Secretary Noem. What questions do you think this latest development raises for her? Because this case encapsulated so much, right? It encapsulated the tactics and the policy around immigration for this administration, whether the administration was actually following the judge's orders initially. And now you have this latest development where he, for the time being at least, is going to be released.
I think what's going to be raised, by members of the committee is the legality of all of this, and really put it to Noem to answer those tough questions. You'll remember that they deported a plane full of people when a judge's order came down saying you can't do that, but the plane continued on. And so I think with this case, it's become such a political firestorm as well, because he was wrongfully deported, and it was something that DOJ did admit, and the White House had, obviously had to say no and backtracked on it. But I think it has become a case where it shows the brutality of what this administration is willing to do. Rip apart families, go into facilities where they're daycare workers or, at schools, and take people away. And they're not focused on the actual criminals who are here wrongfully, and that, that should be the priority. So I think she's going to face a lot of questions.
Hear what she says, because the administration has time and time again said we are getting the criminals off the streets, and that's a big focus. But also we know several people who have been taken and detained have not had criminal records.